What's going on, you little oddballs? It's your boy Coreboy back at it again today with a new video. And yeah, I'm playing some zombies. I'm trying to get some dailies done, trying to get some XP out of this, and just have a little bit of fun today. But I do have a couple things that I want to talk about. I also need to go over here. I need to get some shit out of this because I keep forgetting to. So we're gonna grab that. We're trying to get everything out here because I really want this Dravik skin because it looks kind of dope. But I have a couple of things that I've wanted to talk about today involving Call of Duty and, just kind of like my average typical conversations about the state of this game and things like that. Because I've talked about it, I feel like, quite a bit over the last couple of months with BO7 being out and everything. And oh, look at there, we completed our event. We got everything. Let's go. We got it all. We got the thingies. Look at that. We got the cool stuff. Woohoo. We got it. But yeah, we completed the event. Woohoo! Good to know. But I did want to talk a little bit about BO7 and kind of some of my, I guess, takes on it. I don't really know how to explain it as like a take necessarily, but I don't know if y'all have noticed this year, but I've put out kind of a lot less content than what I was last year with COD, Halo, Gears, etc. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like a lot of the reasons I'm doing that, especially with like the COD side of things, I did a lot of COD content last year. Did a lot of content on BO6 involving multiplayer and zombies and everything in between that I could for that game. And I think I even did a couple of Warzone videos if I'm not mistaken. But I just gotta be real because I feel like BO7 would be such a better like received game if it, for one, had a little bit more time to cook. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the game definitely has its half-baked ass areas, especially in the campaign region, which I have always praised Treyarch on their campaigns. I feel like Treyarch has always made pretty damn good campaigns, with their two like least well received ones being BO3 and this one. And I will say this one's even more half baked than fucking BO3's is. Like, BO3 campaign is like, it's not great, but it's not like horrible to play. I wouldn't say this game's campaign is like horrible to play from what I've seen. I haven't played it personally because I just haven't had an urge to play it because I kind of already have an expectation for it, which isn't necessarily good, but it's whatever. But I will say this: I feel like Activision, to a degree, because I was thinking about this, it seems like they released like MW2, MW3, BO6, BO7 like back to back as a way to like counter the talk about maybe COD should have like a 2-year cycle instead of just being an every year thing. And I do feel like, to a degree, due to the Call of Duty coming out every single year, it's kind of like how do I explain this? It's kind of like the iPhone of video games. I don't know how else to get that across, but that's truly what it feels like. Like, there's one every year. Sometimes there's gonna be a banger. There's gonna be a lot of snoozers though in between that. Like, it's very very weird to me how COD goes about this thing, but I do feel like this was like a whole thing to like counter the, hey, maybe you all should like, make take more time to actually make these games better with a 2-year dev cycle instead of a 1-year dev cycle. Which I do agree would be a good thing because it would allow them more times to actually like innovate the series in positive ways, possibly. Now, don't get me wrong. If we do the 2-year dev cycle thing, and let's say we have a fucking an MW2, for example, for 2 years, yeah, that would suck, but that would give them even more time to work on what is next for the series. And we wouldn't get these like half-baked experiences that we've gotten, which I do think has diminished the series quite heavily. And I say that because COD's been around like since like the start of what we know COD as today, with like modern, like COD 4, the original Modern Warfare. That game is going to be 20 this year, which is crazy to say, but the game turns 20 years old this year. And doing that year cycle for 20 years does not allow for a lot of growth in a series. And I feel like that is something that they really do got to focus in on. And I get it because I know Activision's whole thing is, well, how can we bring in the most profit every year? And a yearly release is a way to bring in a lot of profit. It's something new for people to play, and it may be received poorly, but there is the core audience that will continue to play the series and buy the game. Or just buy things within the game. Even if you don't buy the full product, if you didn't buy BO7, but you're still playing Warzone and you're buying shit in Warzone, that's enough of a reason for them to continue making a yearly release. And do I think that's a good excuse? No, I don't, truly. That's one thing that I think has hurt gaming a lot in recent years, is the more heavily focused side of, well, we gotta make things to make money. Like, we gotta put microtransactions in, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And that's had like its ebbs and flows of being a good thing and a bad thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the best thing that came with like seasonal content, for example, truly and wholeheartedly, I think the best thing that came from that was that now, like, maps and weapons are free DLC. That's what it is. Like, more than anything, it's free DLC. Yeah, you can buy a battle pass, but you at least have access to the base content, which you didn't have back in the day. If you all were around for the OG days of COD and Halo, Gears of War, etc., dude, they would release DLC maps, and some of them would be really good. My favorite example of that is a map in BO2 called Pod. Do y'all remember Pod? Bet you don't, because I bet you a lot of you motherfuckers didn't buy the DLCs back in the day. You probably didn't have the money because you were a little kid, and that's okay. I was lucky that, like, me and my friends game shared, so we all kind of had access to shit like that. Like, somebody would buy one DLC and then someone would buy the other, and we would like take turns buying these things so we could all play it together. And it was just a really, really odd time and like weird thing. So like a lot of people didn't get to experience stuff like that. And then, well, seasonal content came around, and it was like, well, everybody has access to it now, and that's great. Like, dude, and my favorite COD title of all time is BO3, for example. I didn't have all the DLCs for BO3. I don't know what half the fucking DLC maps are on that game. If you told me, oh, what map is this from, and it's a DLC map from BO3, I wouldn't be able to tell you, brother. I really don't fucking know. But it's just this weird thing that, like, I don't know how they would even go about it. I do agree with most players when they say we should have a 2-year dev cycle that gives the games more longevity. It really allows us to have the time to experience things that they may try out during that game cycle, to then push over that criticism to making the next game better. Does that mean they'll listen all the way? No. We've seen that with Infinity Ward plenty of times, where that is the most hard set on their vision dev studio that we have in the Call of Duty world. But people at, like, Treyarch, for example, have actually really listened to a lot of players when it comes to this game, and I think that is a really good thing about it. Some things I don't necessarily agree with, some things I do, but overall, I like the fact that Treyarch has been more involved with the community than most of the developers have in recent years. I think it's just a net positive for everyone involved. So personally, I do think COD would be in a better state if we did the 2-year dev cycle. I think it would just be overall a healthier product, a better product, and overall I feel like people would just enjoy it more than what they do in its current state and current iteration, with the, well, each game only lasts a year, and then kind of nowadays compared to before, the game is just dead. And I hate to say that, but it's truly how it is. Back in the day, at least like on the 360 era, and I would say even leading into the 8th gen era of consoles with the Xbox One and the PS4, we were able to still go back and play games like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, etc. And we did. People were still playing them, and people still do, but it's much harder than ever and more unsafe than ever to do so. And it's really, really unfortunate. It sucks that, like, it's really hard to go back and play these classic COD titles and go play the multiplayer. So, dude, I would still, to this day, I would go back and play those old COD titles from time to time. But, dude, it's so unsafe that, like, now I don't even want to take the risk to do so. And it's unfortunate as can be. I do feel like with the change to, like, things being more geared towards, like, PC and stuff like that, it does make it a little bit more difficult. But still, I don't think it should be an excuse. Shit, I will still live on the take of, we need, for games like Call of Duty, we should have like an MCC equivalent for, like, Halo has, where I have a way to go back and play COD, like the original Modern Warfare. I can go back and play Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, etc. in one complete package. Will Activision allow that? Fuck no. They wouldn't make money from it in their eyes. They would have to find a way to put things like microtransactions in, etc. And actually, if you don't know, is one of the problems that we had with MCC and why they kind of stopped supporting MCC. They couldn't make profit off of it, because that's what some place like Microsoft would want, is, hey, if y'all ain't making a profit, we ain't going to help you support it. And it's really unfortunate that that's where we're at in the gaming world. And I do hope there is at a point here soon in the future where there is some revisionism within the gaming community and in the gaming industry that allows for games like that to thrive. Not every game needs a battle pass. I think a lot of people are genuinely getting really tired of battle passes, especially me. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, sure, I'll grind them out. Am I having fun? No, not necessarily. I'm kind of bored, to be completely honest with y'all. But I really don't know how I, as a singular person, can fucking change that. Definitely consuming a lot less, I think, would definitely be a big step. But I do also just feel like the general take and consensus of COD should have a 2-year dev cycle. It should be something that they focus on a little bit more than what they have, and do it in a different way that is not how we've done it here. I get kind of the idea of what they're going for as well. They want 2-year dev cycles, but we got to put out a new game. Now that's not what we meant. We didn't want you to put out a new game. We want the game to last longer than a fucking year. It would be fine. And also on top of that take and everything in between it, I do feel like having a 2-year dev cycle would make even the competitive side a lot better and healthier. One thing that I complain a lot about with the CDL is we don't really, unless it's online, we don't get to actually truly watch the game a lot in its time that it exists now with the CDL. That's actually one thing I like about Halo, and what I loved about HCS was every year for Infinite, for example, there was just something going on because we had Infinite for so long. Now, don't get me wrong, did it get a little stale after a while? It definitely did. I'm not going to lie there. I will be completely honest. But overall, we had something to look forward to. We had, 5 events to look forward to. We had qualifiers, but we knew next year, when a team would lose, like, oh, there's probably going to be something that's going to change. Like, somebody's going to start playing different, and they're going to come out diffy next year. And that was always, like, what really made, to me, watching Infinite fun was seeing how are these players going to evolve on the game that we've all been playing for, this extended amount of time, etc. And it would change how the game was played. I mean, we've seen even last year in year 4, Infinite got absolutely insane in how people were playing it. People were playing really fast. They were playing aggressive. They were, moving around the map like we've never seen people have in a Halo before. And it was really cool, honestly. And I think having 2 years of a COD would be great. That would give us, for each game, a total of, 10 events. Because we have 4 majors and then champs. And then, I guess, EWC. But it's not really like a CDL event. It's kind of its own thing. But I guess total out would be 12. And I feel like having 12 events for people to actually watch, oh, well, the events aren't near me this year, and I'm not going to be able to see this game played. But maybe next year they'll be closer to you, and you can still go watch the game be played that you want to go watch be played. I just think overall it'd be just significantly healthier, and I really do hope that COD might one day lean into that as a whole. I think it's going to be really hard just due to Activision's motives, and I think a lot of people understand like how predatory Activision is as a publisher and what they want from their consumer products. I mean, we've seen it with COD. We even unfortunately seen it with Destiny, and look at the state that we have Destiny in now. It's not great. And I know Activision isn't involved with Destiny anymore, but we kind of seen the predatory natures of Activision towards the end of their tenure with their partnership with Bungie to be the publisher for Destiny. It was really, really weird and very odd, and I feel like it's a part of the reason why Destiny has been in the place that it's been for the last couple of years, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, that's just my kind of take on it. I would like to know what you all feel about like down below. Like, please tell me, like, what the fuck do you want to see from COD? Do you want to see them change how they go about making their games? Do you want to see maybe a different experience with COD altogether? Because we are seeing yet again another change in how games are being perceived now. For a while we had the rise of BRs, and then it was the rise of the tac shooters, and now we see it leaning more towards the extraction shooter side of things with the rise of arc raiders and the very close release of Marathon, which I'll be honest, I'm very excited for because I just love Marathon, and I'm really excited that Bungie's going back to that universe. I didn't really care for arc raiders. I didn't buy it. I did play the betas, and I was like, it's cool, but it's just not really what I'm looking for in a game like this. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite thing ever. It's kind of just meh to me personally. But overall, do you want to see a big pivot in the series? Do you want to see them lean towards something else? I mean, we've seen them try the whole extraction thing with DMZ. Was it successful? No. It had some cool and interesting ideas, but I just don't feel like it was executed great personally. And that's just me. But I do want to know how you all feel down below. So let me know. Leave some comments. I'd greatly appreciate it because I like to read these things and know what the actual community themselves is feeling. I think that's an important thing to take a look at. I know I'm not a fucking dev or anything, but I like to hear those things from the community. I think it is a drastically important thing to hear from the people that actually play the games and not just some random person that may put 2 hours in a week on the game. I want to hear from people who actually sit down and play the titles and how they feel about it, or people who maybe left and went to play other things because of the way that the series was going. I want to hear about those things down below. So if you can and you see this video, please do so. Also, I will let you all know we will be live today. We'll be streaming quite a bit, so stop by there. We're always live on YouTube. We're never live anywhere else. We do the YouTube stuff here. So please come check us out. Come say hi. Come hang out with us. We'll be grinding per usual. Other than that, I love you all, and I will catch you later.